Fatima AlShaygi serves as TAQA's Vice President of UAE Asset Management. Now, she oversees the strategies, policies and programs assigned for the company's UAE power and water generation portfolio. And I'm delighted to say that she now joins me in the studio. It is very good to see you. How are you?
Very good to see you. I'm good, thank you.
What I want to ask you is about the level of representation of female professionals within the energy and utilities field. Are we seeing an expansion in this area for women? What is it they're bringing to the table?
Absolutely. Thank you for this question, and let me start with welcoming you to the ADSW. Obviously, as you might have noticed around, the energy sector continues to increase in terms of women representation. And if we look around, there are many leaders who are representing the energy sector and utility sector per se. So in terms of the women representations in the utility sector, we've seen that in the last couple of years, the number of women representation have increased significantly, yet it's underrepresented in the overall energy sector. From a leadership perspective, we've seen that the utilities tend to have much more representation in leadership positions, women in decision-making, as well as women who are able to put to the table and drive certain policies across nations. So I've joined the energy sector around 12 years ago, and I can see the big jump in terms of the increase of women in technical aspect and specifically engineering. So you can see that today and the new generation tends to get more increasingly interested in engineering, sustainability and other technical sort of specialization that the previous generation was not really interested in.
Points down to education, really, that if you steer it in the right way, you can attract the talent, catch them early and nurture them as they go along.
Absolutely, absolutely. And today here in the UAE, we see that the leadership have continued to emphasize, to encourage women to go out of their comfort zone, to push them to be at site, to work as technicians, as engineers who are leading currently the field. So from utilities perspective and as TAQA's group, today we find young ladies who are very enthusiastic, very well talented to pick up jobs that has underrepresented by women earlier. So we see ladies with their helmets, with their boots, going to the site and fulfilling in a very talented way and performing their jobs in an excellent way that has not been the case, I would say, 10 years ago.
I mean, you yourself are a decision maker and you're responsible for a wide portfolio of interests in the green technology field. So how do you prioritize where your attention needs to go first? What are the challenges there?
To be honest with you, as I've mentioned, and driving from the thought in terms of education and the leadership continue to push women to take part of the technical sort of sector, the issue is retaining those talents. And generally at very young age, once they graduate from universities, they tend to be very enthusiastic about picking up this job. However, the issue is continuous development and retaining them to ensure that they continue to develop to hold leadership positions. So from TAQA's perspective, TAQA have set targets in order to reach to around 30% of leadership across the TAQA group. This is a 2030 target in alignment with the wider UAE nation targets to ensure that at least 30% of the leadership at TAQA's group is represented by women. In addition, November 2022 is when TAQA have announced the first Women Council. This council puts together initiatives as well as ensure that women have got all opportunities to position themselves as leaders of the sector. In addition, bring in young leaders to be inspired by the existing ones to take this role in the future.
Okay, well look, it's a fantastic responsibility. You're doing very well because clearly you have got this pipeline of talent that's following up and you're part of that process of nurturing them, getting them to the top. But Fatima, thank you so much for joining us. I know that you're very busy, so I'm going to release you so that you can pick up where you left off. But that was Fatima AlShaygi. She serves as TAQA's Vice President of UAE Asset Management.